I'm Daisy, 67 years old, and I've lived in this Portland house for 40 years. It holds all my memories. Where I raised my son Greg as a single mother, where I came home after long nursing shifts. When Greg introduced me to Natalie, I was thrilled. Finally, a daughter-in-law. But something felt off from the beginning. My intuition was right when she showed up at my door with a notary. Before I tell you how I turned the tables on my greedy daughter-in-law, let me know where you're watching from. And hit that like button if you've ever had to deal with someone trying to take advantage of your kindness. This house has been in my family for generations. My parents left it to me when they passed, and it became the safe haven where I raised Greg alone after his father abandoned us when Greg was just 3 years old. The mortgage was paid off 25 years ago, and knowing this house would always be here gave me peace during tough times. I worked as a nurse at Portland General for 45 years. Those were long, demanding shifts, but I loved helping people through their most vulnerable moments. Sometimes I'd work doubles to make sure Greg could have the things other kids had: summer camps, decent clothes, and eventually money for college. I retired just 2 years ago, looking forward to gardening, traveling a bit, and finally having time to myself after decades of caring for others. Greg and I used to be so close. When he was little, we were a team, just the two of us against the world. I still remember him waiting up for me after late shifts, insisting on making me toast even though he was barely tall enough to reach the counter. But as he grew older, something changed. He struggled to find his path in life. He dropped out of college after 2 years saying it wasn't for him, which I understood. College isn't for everyone. But then came the string of jobs he couldn't keep: retail positions, restaurant work, even a stint at a moving company. Nothing seemed to stick. The pattern became familiar excitement about a new opportunity, initial success, then problems with coworkers or management, followed by quitting or being let go. Each time he'd stay with me until he found something new, and each time I'd help him financially to get back on his feet. "Mom, I'll pay you back as soon as I get my first paycheck," he'd promise. But those repayments rarely materialized. I didn't mind, not really. He was my son, and that's what mothers do. But I did worry about his future. By 35, Greg still had no career, no savings, and no clear direction. I started to wonder if I'd enabled his lack of responsibility by always being his safety net. Then, 8 months ago, Greg called me sounding happier than he had in years. "Mom, I want you to meet someone special," he said. "Her name is Natalie." We met at Luigi's, a small Italian restaurant downtown. Natalie was attractive, well-dressed, and articulate. She was 33, worked in real estate, and seemed to have her life together in all the ways my son didn't. Throughout dinner, she was polite but somewhat distant. What struck me as odd was how many questions she asked about my house, my retirement plans, and whether I had considered downsizing now that you're all alone in such a big place. "I'm perfectly comfortable where I am," I told her with a smile, though something about her interest made me uneasy. Greg seemed completely smitten. He laughed at all her jokes, agreed with everything she said, and looked at her with adoring eyes I hadn't seen before. I was happy for him, but couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. 3 months later, Greg called to tell me they were engaged. "Don't you think that's a bit quick?" I asked, trying to sound supportive rather than alarmed. "When Mom," he replied. "Natalie's the one." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that my son had found someone who truly loved him. But that nagging feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. The wedding was a small, rushed affair at the county courthouse. Natalie insisted they didn't need a big ceremony or reception. "We'd rather put that money toward our future," she explained. Greg nodded in agreement, though I remembered how he'd once talked about wanting a beach wedding someday. What struck me as strange was the complete absence of Natalie's family. No parents, no siblings, not even a friend to stand as her witness. I served that role instead, smiling for the few photos that were taken, trying to ignore the hollow feeling in my chest. "My family and I are estranged," Natalie told me when I asked. "They never approved of my choices in life." She didn't elaborate further, and Greg quickly changed the subject when I tried to learn more. After the ceremony, they had a week-long honeymoon in Cancun, paid for with money I'd given Greg for his fresh start. They moved into Natalie's apartment afterward, a modern one-bedroom in a trendy part of town that seemed beyond what a real estate agent new to the area should be able to afford. I visited them once and noticed there were hardly any personal touches. No photos, no mementos, nothing that suggested someone had lived there for more than a few weeks. When I mentioned this, Natalie laughed it off. I'm a minimalist, she said. Less stuff, less stress. About a month after the wedding, I was watering plants on my porch when I overheard Natalie on her phone in the driveway after dropping off Greg. She didn't see me behind the large hydrangea bushes. The plan is working perfectly, she said to whoever was on the other end. We'll have access to the property soon enough. The old lady doesn't suspect a thing. My blood ran cold. I remained still until she drove away, then went inside with shaking hands. Who was she talking about? Was I the old lady? What plan, what property? I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, that perhaps she was discussing a real estate deal. But deep down, I knew better. Over the next few weeks, Natalie's questions about my house became more frequent and direct during their visits. Have you updated your will recently, Daisy? She asked during Sunday dinner, her tone casual as she cut into her roast chicken. This house must be worth quite a bit now with the market the way it is, she remarked another time, running her hand along my kitchen counter. Have you thought about what will happen to it after you're gone? Greg became increasingly distant, often checking his phone during our conversations or finding excuses to leave early. When I tried to talk to him alone, Natalie always seemed to appear steering the conversation in another direction. It was during one of their visits that I discovered something troubling. Greg went to use the bathroom, and Natalie stepped outside to take a call. I noticed his wallet on the coffee table, and feeling guilty but increasingly concerned, I looked inside. Behind his driver's license was a loan shark's card with several dates and amounts written on the back. The most recent entry showed he owed $50,000. My son had a gambling problem. It explained so much. The job instability, the constant need for money, the quick marriage to someone who seemed financially stable. When Greg returned, I casually asked how his new job at the warehouse was going. Great, he said, not meeting my eyes. The manager says I might get a promotion soon. Later that week, Natalie called me directly, something she'd never done before. Daisy, she said, her voice honey sweet, I've been thinking about Greg's future. Have you considered adding him to the deed of your house? It would protect your assets and give him some security. I'll think about it, I replied, my suspicions growing stronger by the minute. That afternoon, I called my longtime friend Sandra, who happened to be a lawyer specializing in elder law. Don't sign anything, she warned me. This sounds suspicious. Adding him to the deed could be the first step in forcing you out. Sandra shared stories of similar situations she'd encountered, elderly parents being manipulated by children or in-laws with financial motives. She also mentioned something that chilled me. There's been a pattern of this in Portland lately, older homeowners being pressured by relatives often after new marriages. With Sandra's help, I began researching Natalie's background. What we discovered was alarming. Under slightly different names, Natalie Curtis, Nat Curzio, Natasha Court, she'd been married 3 times before, each time to men who were either older or financially stable, and each marriage ending within 2 years. More disturbing was that in 2 cases the men lost their property shortly after the marriages ended. You need to protect yourself, Sandra advised, and document everything. Greg and Natalie's visits became more frequent, but the nature of these visits changed. Instead of casual family time, they seemed like assessments. Mom, don't you find this house a bit much to maintain on your own? Greg asked during one visit, gesturing to a small water stain on the ceiling from a minor roof leak I'd already scheduled to have fixed. I've noticed you seem a bit overwhelmed with the yard work, Natalie added, though my garden was in the same condition it had been for years. The comments escalated to suggestions that I might be struggling with daily tasks or forgetting things, neither of which was true. I found myself defending my independence more and more. Have you considered looking at retirement communities? Natalie asked one evening, sliding a glossy brochure across my dining table. Just as an option for the future. They have wonderful social activities. I glanced at the brochure. It wasn't for a retirement community, but for a nursing home, one with the lowest ratings in the county according to an expose I'd read in the Portland Tribune. I'm perfectly capable of socializing on my own, thank you, I replied, pushing the brochure back without opening it. A few days later, I noticed something concerning. My filing cabinet in the home office had been disturbed. Several financial documents were missing my house deed insurance policies and recent bank statements. I kept a careful organization system so their absence was immediately apparent. When Greg came by alone the next day, I confronted him. "Did you take some papers from my office, Greg?" His reaction told me everything. He flushed, avoided eye contact, and immediately became defensive. "Why would you accuse me of something like that? You're getting paranoid, Mom. Maybe you misplaced them and forgot. That happens at your age." "At my age?" I repeated, stunned by his attempt to gaslight me. "I'm 67, not 97, and I've never misplaced important documents in my life." The argument escalated until Greg finally broke down. "I'm in trouble, Mom." He admitted, tears in his eyes. "I owe money to some dangerous people. Gambling debts. Natalie knows people who can help, but we need collateral." "My house as collateral," I stated, not asked. He couldn't look at me as he nodded. "Natalie says once we secure the loan with the house, we can pay off my debts and still keep the house in the family. She knows what she's doing, Mom. She works in real estate. She's manipulating you, Greg, and you're letting her manipulate me." He left angry, calling me selfish and untrusting. 2 days later, Natalie arrived with papers she claimed were just updates to your will that would ensure Greg is taken care of. She wanted me to sign them immediately without reading them fully or having anyone else review them. I pretended to consider it, asking for time to look everything over. After they left, I called Sandra again, who confirmed my suspicions. The documents would have given Greg, and by extension Natalie, power of attorney and the right to make decisions about my property and care. That night I installed security cameras in my living room, kitchen, and front porch, small enough to be unnoticeable but powerful enough to record clear video and audio. It wasn't long before they captured exactly what I feared. Greg and Natalie sitting in my living room while I was supposedly upstairs napping. "Once we get her to sign, we can sell the house immediately," Natalie was saying. "The buyers are ready to close quickly. We'll use half to pay off your debts, and with the rest we can move to Arizona." "But what about Mom?" Greg asked, his voice uncertain. "Where will she go?" "There's a state-funded facility in Vancouver that takes Medicare. It's not fancy, but she'll have a roof over her head. She'll adjust." "I don't know, Nat. She raised me in this house, and now she can help set you free from these debts before they break your legs. Do you want to end up in the hospital? Or worse, because that's what's coming if we don't do this." The manipulation was clear as day. Natalie was using my son's gambling debts and fear to turn him against me. But what broke my heart wasn't her scheme. It was how easily my son was willing to throw away our relationship and my well-being. I decided to play along while gathering more evidence. With Sandra's help, I created legal documents of my own, ones that would protect me and my assets no matter what happened next. A week after I discovered their plan, Greg and Natalie made their first aggressive attempt. They arrived unannounced on a Sunday morning, Natalie carrying a folder of documents, Greg looking nervous but determined. "We need to talk about your future, Mom," he said as they sat down at my kitchen table without waiting for an invitation. "My future," I echoed, offering them coffee as if nothing were wrong. My security cameras were recording everything. "We're concerned," Natalie began, her voice practiced with false sincerity. "Greg has noticed you forgetting things, struggling with daily tasks. It's not safe for you to live alone anymore." "I don't recall forgetting anything significant," I replied calmly. "See, you don't even remember forgetting," Natalie said, exchanging a meaningful glance with my son. "Last week you forgot Greg's birthday." "Greg's birthday is in November. It's July." My son had the decency to look embarrassed, but Natalie pressed on. "You left the stove on when we visited last month." "I don't recall that because it didn't happen." "This is exactly what we're talking about," she said, her voice rising slightly. "Denial is common at the beginning of cognitive decline." She slid papers across the table. "These are just to help Greg take care of your finances and health decisions if you become unable to. Standard documents every family should have." I pretended to read them while sipping my coffee. The documents would have signed over my house to Greg immediately and granted them full control over my medical decisions and finances. "I don't think I'm ready to sign these today," I said finally. "I'd like my lawyer to look them over first." That's when I saw a side of my son I'd never seen before. "For God's sake, Mom, why do you have to make everything so difficult?" he snapped, slamming his hand on the table. "We're trying to help you." "By putting me in a nursing home and taking my house?" I asked quietly. His eyes widened. Natalie's expression hardened. "You've been spying on us," she said, her voice now stripped of all pretense of warmth. "I've been protecting myself. I corrected. This is my home, Greg. I raised you here. How could you do this to me? You don't understand, he muttered. I need help. These people will hurt me if I don't pay. So you'd rather hurt me instead? Your own mother. Natalie stood abruptly. This is getting us nowhere. Either sign the papers or we'll have to pursue other options. You're clearly not thinking rationally anymore. What other options? I asked, though I already knew. Involuntary commitment for mental evaluation. Greg has documentation of your declining mental state from your doctor. You mean the fraudulent papers you created? I challenged. Dr. Reeves retired last year. I see Dr. Lopez now. Natalie's momentary flash of panic confirmed my suspicion. They'd forged medical documents. Greg looked from me to Natalie, confusion evident on his face. You said you spoke to her real doctor. She did not, I said firmly. Greg, she's manipulating both of us. Don't listen to her, Natalie hissed, grabbing his arm. She's trying to turn you against me. Remember what happens if we don't get this money. They left with threats of returning, of contacting Adult Protective Services, of forcing me into a competency hearing. I immediately called my friend Barbara and stayed with her for a few days, afraid to be alone in my house. Together with Sandra, we filed a police report documenting the threats and attempted fraud. The officer who took my statement mentioned they'd seen similar cases recently, elderly homeowners being pressured by family members, often with falsified documents. While I was staying with Barbara, neighbors called to tell me Natalie had been going door to door telling people I was experiencing mental health challenges and that she and Greg were just trying to get me help. She was laying groundwork to discredit me if I fought back. After 3 days at Barbara's, Greg called, his voice subdued. I'm sorry, Mom. We went about this all wrong. Can we talk, just the two of us? I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop, public safe with witnesses. But when I arrived, Natalie was with him, smiling as if our last encounter had never happened. We've been thinking, she said before Greg could speak, and we want to start fresh. No pressure, just family helping family. I returned home cautiously with a plan in place. I changed my locks, installed additional security cameras, and kept meticulous documentation of every interaction. Sandra helped me secure my legal documents in her office safe and put a fraud alert on my credit reports and bank accounts. I was ready for whatever came next. 2 weeks after our confrontation, the scene from the thumbnail played out in real life. I was reading in my living room when the doorbell rang. Through the security camera, I saw Natalie standing on my porch with a middle-aged man carrying a briefcase and a nervous-looking Greg behind them. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. Hello, Daisy, Natalie said with a triumphant smile. This is Mr. Patterson, a notary. We have some paperwork to finalize today. Paperwork for what? I asked, though I already knew. The sale of the house, she replied smoothly. As we discussed last week. We had discussed no such thing. You agreed it was for the best, she continued. The new owners are eager to close, and we found a lovely assisted living facility for you. The notary looked uncomfortable but professional. Greg couldn't meet my eyes. We've just sold this house, Natalie announced, stepping forward as if to enter. You're going to a nursing home. It's all been arranged. I looked directly at Mr. Patterson. Did she tell you I agreed to this sale? He nodded. I was informed this was a planned family decision with all parties in agreement. Perfect, I said calmly. Let's all go to the police station first. They're very interested in what's been happening here. Natalie's smile faltered. What are you talking about? I'm talking about elder fraud, Natalie. Or should I call you Natasha Court? Or was it Natalie Curtis in Arizona? Her face drained of color. I know about your previous marriages, I continued. To Walter in Phoenix, to James in Sacramento. Both older men with valuable properties. Both who mysteriously needed to sell their home shortly after marrying you. The police are very interested in that pattern. Mr. Patterson took a step back, clutching his briefcase. I was told this was a straightforward family property transfer with the owner's consent. It is not, I stated firmly, and I have never agreed to sell my home or go to any facility. She's confused, Natalie said quickly. This is exactly why she needs assisted living. Her memory is failing. My memory is excellent, I replied. Good enough to remember installing security cameras that have recorded every conversation in my house for the past month, including your discussions about forcing me into a state facility after selling my home without my consent. Greg finally looked at me, his expression a mix of shame and fear. Mom, Sir, I addressed the notary. I suggest you leave now, unless you want to be party to attempted fraud. I've already contacted the authorities about the situation. Mr. Patterson needed no further encouragement. He apologized profusely and hurried to his car. Natalie's facade crumbled, her face contorted with rage, showing the person she truly was. You stupid old woman, she spat. Do you have any idea what you've done? The people Greg owes money to aren't patient types. They'll come for him next. There are legal ways to handle debt that don't involve defrauding your mother-in-law, I replied steadily. You'll regret this, she threatened. We'll be back, and next time we won't be so nice. She grabbed Greg's arm and pulled him toward their car. My son went without resistance, without a word to me, without a glance back at the mother who had sacrificed everything for him. As they drove away, I closed my door, locked it, and finally allowed myself to cry. I called Sandra immediately after they left. Within hours, she had filed an emergency restraining order against both Natalie and Greg. She also connected me with Detective Martinez, who specialized in elder fraud cases. Unfortunately, what you're describing is becoming more common, Detective Martinez told me when we met at the police station the next day. We've seen a pattern of this type of targeted marriage and property fraud against homeowners, particularly in desirable neighborhoods. I provided him with copies of my security footage, the forged documents Natalie had tried to get me to sign, and the information Sandra and I had gathered about Natalie's past. This matches the MO of a group we've been tracking, Martinez said, studying the files. They target vulnerable individuals with assets, usually through a family connection. Your daughter-in-law may be working with others. His investigation uncovered that Natalie had operated under 3 different names in 3 states with a pattern of short marriages, followed by property transfers. Most disturbing was the discovery that she wasn't actually a licensed real estate agent as she'd claimed. Through Detective Martinez, I connected with 2 of Natalie's previous victims. Walter, an 82-year-old former college professor from Phoenix, and James, a 65-year-old widower from Sacramento. Their stories mirrored mine: whirlwind romance with their adult children, rushed marriage, escalating pressure to transfer property, and ultimately financial devastation. She cleaned me out, Walter told me over the phone, his voice heavy with regret. My house, my savings, even my late wife's jewelry. When there was nothing left to take, she disappeared. The worst part wasn't losing the house, James added during our conversation. It was realizing my daughter was in on it the whole time. We haven't spoken since. I wondered if that would be my fate with Greg as well. 3 days after the confrontation, Greg showed up at my door alone. His eyes were red, his clothes rumpled as if he'd been sleeping in them. Can I come in? He asked, his voice rough. I let him in but kept my distance, the restraining order temporarily set aside for this conversation. How could you do this to me? He demanded as soon as the door closed. Natalie was trying to help us both. Now her family is threatening to break my legs if I don't pay by Friday. Her family, I asked. The loan sharks are her family. Her cousin Tony runs a betting operation. I owe him $50,000. Natalie said she'd make him back off if we got cash from selling the house. And you believed her. Greg, she's done this before. That's a lie. She loves me. I took out the folder of evidence Sandra and I had compiled and placed it on the coffee table. See for yourself. Reluctantly, he sat and opened the folder. I watched his face as he looked through marriage certificates, property records, police reports, and statements from Natalie's previous husbands. With each document, his expression shifted from denial to confusion to devastation. This can't be real, he whispered, but I could see he was beginning to believe. She doesn't love you, Greg. She targeted you because of me, because of this house. She's done it before, and she'll do it again to someone else. He broke down, then sobbing like he hadn't since he was a child. Between tears, the full story emerged. He'd met Natalie at a casino while deep in gambling debt. She'd approached him, bought him a drink, listened to his problems. She suggested that his mother's house could solve everything. She knew exactly how to manipulate him, playing on his financial desperation and his strained relationship with me. I didn't know she was planning to put you in a state facility, he said, wiping his eyes. She told me it would be a nice retirement community, that you'd be happier there. Would I be happier homeless while you moved to Arizona with my money? I asked. He had no answer for that. What happens now? He finally asked. That depends on you, I replied. Detective Martinez wants to talk to you about Natalie and her family's operation. If you cooperate, it might help with any charges against you. Charges against me? His head snapped up. I'm her victim, too. You were planning to defraud your mother and force her into a nursing home, I reminded him. That's not being a victim, Greg. That's being an accomplice. He left shortly after saying he needed time to think. I didn't know if I'd ever see my son again, or if our relationship could ever recover from this betrayal. For a week, I heard nothing from Greg. I jumped at every phone call expecting news that he'd been hurt by Natalie's cousins or that they were escalating their threats against me. When the doorbell rang the following Thursday, I checked the security camera to see Detective Martinez standing on my porch. We've arrested Natalie Curtis, he informed me once I invited him in. She was attempting to leave the state with falsified identification documents. The relief I felt was tempered by my next question. What about my son? He came to the station 2 days ago, Martinez said, provided a full statement about the operation. Apparently, Ms. Curtis is part of a network involving several family members who run similar schemes across multiple states. Greg had done the right thing, finally. But where was he now? My answer came later that evening when he called from a number I didn't recognize. Mom, he said, his voice shaky. I'm at Portland Memorial. Don't worry, I'm okay, just some bruised ribs and a black eye. Natalie's cousin found me before the police found him. I rushed to the hospital, my heart in my throat. Despite everything, he was still my son, my only child. I found him in a treatment room, face bruised, but intact, looking smaller somehow in the hospital gown. I'm sorry, were the first words out of his mouth when he saw me. I'm so sorry. The road to rebuilding trust would be long and difficult. Greg had betrayed me in the worst possible way, choosing a con artist over his own mother willing to see me homeless to solve his gambling problems. But he was also a victim of his addiction and Natalie's skilled manipulation. Over the following weeks, with Natalie in custody awaiting trial, Greg and I began the painful process of reconciliation. He enrolled in a gambling addiction treatment program and moved into a small apartment paid for with a loan from Sandra, not from me. We agreed that our financial boundaries needed to be firm. I need to stand on my own, he said during one of our cautious coffee meetings. I've depended on you for too long. With Detective Martinez's encouragement, I connected with other victims of similar schemes, forming a support group that eventually evolved into an advocacy organization for elder fraud awareness. Our stories, combined with evidence provided by Greg and others, helped authorities build a stronger case against Natalie and her family members. Slowly, I began to heal from the betrayal. The house that had almost been stolen from me became a sanctuary again rather than a target. I installed additional security measures and updated my will with Sandra's help, with provisions for Greg contingent on his continued recovery and demonstrated responsibility. 6 months after Natalie's arrest, Greg and I sat on my porch swing, something we hadn't done since he was a teenager. The evening was cool, the garden fragrant with late summer blooms. Do you think you'll ever be able to trust me again? He asked quietly. I'm trusting you right now, I replied. Being here alone with you, that's a start. He nodded, understanding that some wounds take years to heal if they ever do completely. I keep thinking about what I almost did to you, he admitted. How I almost threw away everything that matters for someone who never cared about me at all. Addiction and desperation make people do terrible things, I said. So does manipulation. The important thing is that you stopped it before it was too late for both of us. What I've learned through this ordeal is that sometimes the people closest to us can hurt us the most deeply, but that doesn't mean love is gone. It means boundaries are essential. Forgiveness doesn't require forgetting or enabling. It means moving forward with clear eyes and firm limits. I've also learned that our instincts are often right even when we try to ignore them. That nagging feeling I had about Natalie from the beginning was my subconscious recognizing danger signals my conscious mind wanted to dismiss. I'll never ignore those feelings again. Most importantly, I've learned that it's never too late to stand up for yourself. At 67, I fought back against people who thought I would be an easy target. I protected myself when no one else would, and in doing so, I not only saved my home, but possibly help save my son? Have you ever had to stand firm against someone you love when they were making destructive choices? Or have you had to protect yourself from someone trying to take advantage of you? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found my story helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more real-life experiences. Remember, you're never too old to fight for what's right, and you're never alone in these struggles. Thank you for listening to my story, and I wish you strength and wisdom in your own challenging relationships.